Hi there, guys. This is Miss Nielsen again. And we are going to look at the second part of our Week 3 English Language Arts Grade 7 packet. So we have, in the first video, I introduced what central idea means, and we read through the article, and now we're going to look at how you can better answer the questions, okay? If you took a break, I would, if you watch the first video on the first day, now you're coming back to it on your second day, I would stop right now and I would reread the article, okay? It's every time you reread, you get more, you have a better understanding of what you're reading, okay? So let's look at this first question here. It says, construct an objective summary of the text, clearly identifying more than one central idea, okay? Let's start by identifying those central ideas. The best writers take really good notes. Okay, so let me get this. The central idea. Okay, remember we took some notes on this last time. We start with the subject, so the person or thing the story is about, and then we figure out what the author has to say about that person or thing to get our central idea. So if we're going to look at this, we're going to start by taking notes on our central idea. So I would get your paper looking like this. Write these little notes at the top and then put 1, 2, 3 and skip some spaces in between so you have room to write. Okay, so let's figure out the first subject. This one's probably the most obvious. What is the thing most talked about in this story, person or thing? Alligators. So, starting with our subject, we're going to talk about alligators, right? Now, what does the author have to say about alligators? Okay? Are we talking about alligators living in Florida? Not really, right? So, this is what I think the author has to say about the subject of alligators. So, alligators have been found in the New York sewer system, but the stories about their size, the amount, and characteristics has been exaggerated, right? That's where we get our myths and legends from. So if we look back here, now we identified one of our central ideas, okay? Alligators have been found in the New York sewer system, but the stories about their size, the amount, and characteristics has been exaggerated. Now we need to find text evidence, okay? So information from the text that supports our central idea. So we're going to go back to here and we're going to find 4, and you don't have to do 4. I'm okay if you do 2 to 3. We need to find some quotes or some text to support our central idea, okay? So we're going to start here at the top and we're going to look here. Okay. Oops. Let's see. Here we go. So let's look here. So right here, going back, goes here to here. Okay. No, we're going to here we go. This is what I want. Highlight this. And the table the city rescues several alligators pets have been after, have abandoned after growing their cubes. So right there, it supports our central idea that these tales of these alligators are sort of true, right? They have rescued alligators from the sewer system, but they're not as big and scary as some of the myths say. Now let's go and find our next quote. Okay, we're going to scroll down, so we're looking for quotes to support our central idea. Again, alligators have been found in the New York sewer system, but the stories about their size, amount, and characteristics have been exaggerated. We're going to scroll here, right here. While Mr. May's 1959 account seems wildly embellished at best, Mr. Daly told The Times in 2009 that he believes Mr. May's stories, even if the numbers were exaggerated. Okay, so again, we're seeing that the people do alligators in the sewer system, but the amount found that they're saying are in the sewer system is exaggerated. So there's more alligators in the sewer system than people were saying. Okay, and we're going to move on. Here is another one. So this is the New York sewer system chief, and he's talking about getting letters from people. So, yet he said he constantly responds to letters from people asking about albino, alligators, or wondering if sewer workers did indeed carry pistols to protect themselves from the ravages of rapacious reptiles. So let's start here. Constantly, and we see that there are characteristics. So that albino characteristic, and albino is when it's white. They don't have, albino means that your skin or your body doesn't produce pigment like it's supposed to, and so you're not really a color, you're white. And that can be seen in different types of animals, even in humans. We're talking that we had albino alligators in New York sewer system, which is, again, an exaggeration. Okay? And lastly, we're going to scroll. And we're going to look here. The conditions that have led to the myths of special breeds. The lack of sunlight creates blind albino gators, and a steady diet of toxic waste produces giant mutant alligators. So we're talking about myths of these alligators are just not true. Okay? So right there, and here we're going to put in parentheses yellow, because we highlighted our text evidence in yellow, so we can look back and show people that this is why I said this was one of the central ideas of the text. Here's my evidence. This sentence, this passage, this part of the text, and right up here, right, we found at least 4 places that clearly support this central idea. Okay? All right, think about another central idea. Okay? So remember, we start with the subject, so a person or thing the story is about, and then we figure out what the author has to say about that subject. So another thing that's talked a lot about in the story is the New York sewer system. Okay? So what does the author have to say about the New York sewer system, okay, in this story? So we're going to say that the author says, so the New York sewer system has been the center of alligator myth myth and legends for over a century. If you don't know what century means, that means 100 years, okay? And we don't need to capitalize this alligator because it's not the name of a specific alligator. So the New York sewer system, our subject, and this is what the author has to say about it, has been the center of alligator myths and legends for over a century or 100 years, okay? Now, I want you to go find at least 2 to 3, if you want to do 4, that would be great, different quotes or parts from the passage that support this central idea. And I want you to highlight that in a different color. So I'm going to say blue, but if you don't have blue, just use a different color. Okay, so it's your turn now to go find quotes. Then I want you to find or write one last central idea on your own. So first start with the subject. Figure out a person or thing the story is about, and then tell me what the author has to say about that person or thing, just like we did up here. All right, so I want you, if you want to, go ahead and pause right now, finish jotting down your notes about central idea, because then we're going to take those notes and we are going to answer question 1, which says, construct an objective summary of the text. I'll pull it up here. Number 1, construct an objective text, clearly identifying more than one central idea. So, if you took notes and you found your central ideas, this will be really easy. That's why you spend the time taking notes and planning before you write, because now this is going to go super fast, okay? So, when we're writing an objective summary, we want to stick to the facts and information found in the stories. You're not going to include your opinions or feelings, okay? I shouldn't hear words like I, me, you, your. So that means you're not saying I think or I feel, okay? You're not making those statements. This is harder. This is something that's a little bit higher level, but I know you can do it, okay? So right here, I've started a summary outline for you. Okay, we start every paragraph with an opening sentence. So a great opening sentence is saying this story is about, okay, and then just give me a little information about what the story is about. Now everything you write in this opening sentence has to be something that you're going to discuss in the rest of the paragraph. Okay, can't introduce different ideas on what you're going to discuss. Okay, so fill in this first sentence. This story is about. Once you've done that, we're going to move to the next sentence, and we're going to write this one together. One central idea discussed in the story is that, and now we can go all the way back to the top, and we can look at our notes on central idea. Okay, now I'm going to start with this one, okay, because I think that based on kind of the structure or the order that this story was, it'd be a good idea to start my paragraph with this idea that New York system has been the center of alligator myths and legends for over 100 centuries. Okay, so here's what I'm going to write. One central idea discussed in the story is that myths and legends about alligators living in the New York sewer system began over a century ago. Okay, so I didn't use the exact wording we used up here. I changed it up a little bit so that it flowed better in my paragraph. So one central idea discussed in stories is that myths and legends about alligators living in the New York sewer system began over a century ago. Okay, now I'm going to look here at my next central idea. Okay, and I'm going to include that. I'm going to make it flow. Okay, so I'm going to add a transition word. So though alligators have been found in the New York sewer system, the stories about their size, characteristics, and amounts, and the amount has been exaggerated. Okay, so although alligators have been found in the New York system, we're going to change that to although, because that seems to flutter. Although alligators have been found in the New York sewer system, the story about their size, characteristics, and the amount has been exaggerated. Okay? Now, you take your last to finish up this paragraph. You can include a sentence or two about your last central idea. If the central idea fits better here before this one, go ahead and add it where you want to in the paragraph. Okay? But you then need to finish this paragraph up by adding 1 to 2 more sentences about that final central idea that you wrote on your own, and then give me a conclusion sentence. Wrap it all up. Okay? Right there, we have our objective summary. Super easy. Okay? So let's go back to our packet now. Go ahead and pause this video if you need to finish summary or question 1. Okay. Now let's look at question number 2. How are the central ideas of the text developed over the course of the article? My suggestion for this would be to go and back at the two support one central idea again found in the New York sewer system, but the stories about their size, amount, and characteristics have been exaggerated. And I can look at our quotes. So that's why it's helpful to find more than just 2. Finding quotes throughout the article help you with this one, okay? So if you look, this first quote says, "Taylor sort of true. This rescues several alligators, typically former pets that have been abandoned after having outgrown their." So further has been alligators found. However, as we scroll through, 1959 account is wildly embellished at best. Mr. Daly told the Times in 2009 he believed this term, even if the number is added. So first confirm that there are alligators, but the amount that people have talked about, the numbers, like, there's 100 alligators in the systems. That's an exaggeration. There's not that many. And we scroll down. He continually responded to letters from people asking about alligators. Under sewer workers in pistols to protect themselves from the ravages of rapacious reptiles. Okay, number then we rate their characteristics are albino, and the fact that they're ranges and sewer workers have to carry pistols with them to kill them and protect them. Right, it's an exaggeration. Okay, so we thought that the and their characteristics are great. Okay, and then go down here. The conditions have led to the myths of special breeds. The lack of sunlight creates blind albino and the steady diet of toxic produces alligators. Right, their size. It's all exaggerated. See how it develops. I give 2 to 3 sentences about the central idea develops over the text. Right, it starts by saying that alligators, in fact, there were alligators, in fact, found in sewers, but with alligator found, the stories about those alligators and alligators aren't even in this became crazier and more embellished. Okay, so that's where what I would do here. Go back, look at your quotes that you found throughout the article, and explain to me how that central idea is over the text in 2 to 3 sentences. Okay, you can even put in on your notes. You can just type in here. Okay. Oh, 3. How does the author structure the article, and how does the structure contribute to the development of ideas presented? Right. I'm going to give you, like I said, if you need to pause right now and finish answering number 2. Sorry, I said that. So go through and give me 2 to 3 sentences for each central idea and explain developed over the text. We'll look at number 3, structure of the article, and we're going to go over the text. So the literary text structure is the way a state is made. What I'm going to go through 5, and as I go through, try to identify using two are different. When they use words similar, both. However, on the other hand, chronological when these tell us types of order of events, telling something, describing the life story of some from childhood to death. Writing may use words like first, next, then, finally, or oral words such as first, third. Pause. The author tells the reader why something happened. Writing is explaining the reasons why something occurs or occurred. Writing may use words because as a result resulted, affected, since due to. Narrative. The author tells a story using the structure, exposition, rising action, action, resolution. Writing may use words before, longs, in the beginning, and last. Okay. Problem and solution. When the author tells a dilemma, writing issue is something that was, can be, or should be to remedy the issue. Writing may use words like purpose, solution, answer, issue, problem, problematic, remedy, prevention, and fix. Up here. So is this narrow solution. Right now, if you look up here, look at what structure is. So tell me what structure is, and then how does the structure, right, affect like the flow of this, okay? Why they order things in the way that they do. Once you answer these questions, remember if you need more help with the videos, or you want me to your work, and you know how it is, you can always email me with your answers, and I can look over and give you feedback. You can set up Teams with me where I will, we can set up a time, we can video chat. Those tend to be, I think, email. We can just get out of the way quick and just talk back and forth. And if you want to, we do have office hours set up on Thursday from 1 to 2, so I should be available at a time where you can just video conference me, but if that's not for you, so just shoot me an email. Okay? I hope you guys like this video. Helpful. Please have a great week.